Hi, everybody. So, welcome back to the review. We're talking about episode 27. I don't know. I feel like the season is so long. I'm so tired. What do you guys think before we go into the review?
Yeah, to be honest, it feels like this season has gone on for so long now. Like, I'm actually over it. And I don't know if you guys felt that this episode was just long. It just felt like there was a lot that was going on. And I'm just
Yes,
like,
I think they could have shared it
yeah,
into probably
right?
like two
Yeah,
episodes.
this is true.
It was just, it was too much, but too little time. So I had to replace so many things to remember what they said because I just felt like too much information was being shared every single time.
Literally.
Yeah, let's get into it. So let's start the episode. So the episode started off from Kimmi and Maurice visiting ever renovated office. I feel like they've been renovating this office for like how many seasons? I'm actually tired. So they are still renovating the office. It's already like 8 months, and now she's complaining because they hired Micah as the project manager. What did you guys think about this whole thing?
I feel like it just is really showing like the true nature of their relationship because it like Kimmy is giving off she only like really married him just to be married, and just like she said, she married him and got with him because he was handy and she wanted somebody who could do things around the house, and he just is not doing that. Like, you got married for the wrong reason, and I don't feel like this is like a relationship that's meant to last, honestly. Like, honestly, seeing Maurice and just seeing how he just really doesn't want to give in or do anything for her, it just, it's exhausting. And it's like, well, I feel like, and this might sound bad, but I feel like to him, her cancer or her having cancer basically messed up his life in some way, or like it messed up what he thought their relationship was going to be like. Like, I don't know. I just don't like Maurice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I really don't like Maurice. I feel like every time they talk, it almost seems like everyone is not getting what it is they thought they were going to get in the relationship. And so, like, when she was talking about, oh, I thought you were a lot like handy and all of that. I don't know the exact words that she used, but I just kept thinking, so you guys didn't really like who was being honest, who was lying about who they were or weren't, right? And then there's also the other thing where Maurice feels like his greatest life achievement is being a lawyer, in my opinion. So it's given like, oh yeah, but I have to do lawyerly things, so I can't do anything else in the house. Just because you're a lawyer doesn't absolve you from doing stuff in your house and being handy. And if you can't do it, then get good help that will get the stuff done ASAP. It doesn't make sense for that to linger on. And the other thing that I thought about is like it just makes me feel about like how generally we've heard some of how the Scots allegedly do business. And like it's clear that Micah, I guess Micah is his brother, Maurice. So I just feel like he can't even like be on point with the project that he's been given. Like I don't really understand what that's about. But yeah, that's my two
I'm
cents.
actually seeing it from another perspective. Okay, let's look at it from this way. Family. This is what people keep saying. Do not hire family when you want to get something done ASAP. Because family will be like, oh, this person is not going to make any complaints. This person is not going to say anything. So might as well take in more projects. Oh, when they come and complain, be like, you're my sister, I'm my brother, you're my this. So they'll just keep posting you because they feel like you're not going to complain as much if you were if you actually hired like someone you did not know, because that's what it's giving. You can't tell me you're renovating an office space. Even if you are building an office space from scratch, this is just one office with some rooms from scratch. It's not going to take you 8 months. This one, you're only renovating the office space for 8 months. they're playing in our face.
Yeah, that's way too long, but that's what the Scots do. That is their whole MO, is that they will tell you that they have this project they're doing and like act like they're just doing this great work. We're building this, we're building that, but you never see a finished project or like a finished product. It's always months down the line and they're like nowhere to even being finished. They're still damn near on, you know, at step one. And you're like, wait a second, why is it taking so long? And they'll give you some bullshit ass excuse of why it's so long, and then you still see nothing. That's the Scots MO.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we need to collate a list of like their unfinished projects and like put it all over social media because I don't really understand it. Like it feels like they're the only ones on the show that most things start, but we don't see how they end or they take so long. And I just don't understand how long it takes to renovate a couple of rooms. I just don't get it. If you have the money, then what is the problem?
He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to do anything, and because he knows
Yeah,
that his brother Maurice is going to find excuses for him, he's not going to actually do anything for him. I don't know how long or how far she's going to wait, because if we're looking at the timeline, this is about May. I don't even think, probably they're not done by now. I'm just, but that's crazy. So now
yeah,
she
I
brings
definitely don't think they're done.
Yeah. She brings up the whole Tisha's pregnancy stuff. I didn't even want to talk about it in this review. I just wanted to state that it's so obvious that they needed a storyline for Tisha and Marsau, and they just decided to cook up this thing because it's ludicrous. As for the first time, I'm agreeing with Maurice. If they were supposed to have a pregnancy scare, it ought to have happened within the first 2 years or first 3 years. They are 4 years plus into the whole, like, it's not just making sense. The whole, oh, she was scared, she was feeling nauseous, but it's like, I'm irritated. Like, we need a wrap up of the cast. Some people need to go. Some, like, it's just so irritating when you're watching something with a very obvious fake storyline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that was the storyline was beyond fake, and you can tell that it was by one, just the way she just you set up this whole Yanni, experience. Oh, you got to take this pregnancy test. Wait, oh my gosh, I went on a girls' trip and he went to Colombia. Like you're giving us a whole lot of narratives to go ahead and try to grasp from, so that you can have a storyline. And like the pregnancy is not just one. So if that one falls flat, we're going to focus on him going to Colombia. We're going, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to pull things
Yeah.
out to try to make the storyline be something because you have no storyline. So it's
Oh,
like it makes no sense.
100%. Also, feels like it's being dragged out as well because if it was a legitimate storyline, right? Let's say you have a pregnancy scare, chances are you'll be telling your spouse straight away about this so-called pregnancy scare, right? You're not going to hide it, and then it becomes a thing. So I feel like it's intentionally being like dragged out so that it can be their storyline. And I'm just like, we don't want this fake ass storyline. It's so obvious it's fake. Even like Kimmi and Maurice are like clearly poking holes in it. Talk less of us, the viewers, you know? So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've like yeah, Maurice definitely. I mean, I'm glad he called it out there, but I feel like maybe he knew or maybe he didn't know. Maybe it was some shit that Tisha cooked up. I don't know, but I feel like just that whole story is something because I feel like they also know that their storyline with Kiki is falling flat as well. So they had to hurry up and try to pick up something, even though they're still trying to use Kiki as, you know, a subject in a way. Like I feel like they knew that it was going away. So they had to find some
Yeah.
type of
They're
nonsense.
trying to just hold on to something because it's very crazy. So I didn't even know that I didn't even add my channel to this live, but oh well, I just added it, but I'm so tired and I did not notice. But let's continue. So, the scene changes to Stormi coming to visit Tisha in her place of work where they are supposed to apparently be working and probably I like no, it's almost like we're seeing the same thing between Kimmi and Tisha. You have been renovating your own office space too, and it's almost 2 months for builders, for people who work with people's building. It's very scary for you guys to also be renovating an office space, and it's almost 2 months. And I don't see the difference between when we started the second part of the season to now. It's the same thing.
That's
And
what I'm
it's like,
saying. The Scots never have a finished product. They will show you some shit and say that they're doing something, but you never see anything finished. Why is that?
it's so crazy. I, and Tisha is never dressed appropriately. How are you at a building site wearing heels with tights with clothes that will easily get stained? Come
She's
on.
dressed for the cameras, man. Like she's definitely in dressed for work.
It's just all vibes because this is not someone that actually came here for work. But now let's get into the scene. I just wanted to complain a little bit because I did like a pre-review before I joined. I think that's the reason why I forgot to add this whole thing because I already did the review. So Stormi comes in, they start talking about the whole Kiki stuff. She comes with a whole goodness and messy kind of spirit, talking about she has been onto the path of making everybody kumbaya, and that she wants to bring Kiki and Tisha together, that she wants them to be close. She does not like seeing family separate. She does not like seeing family members having issues. So she wants them to like reconcile and all that. I understand, girl. Why are you using this girl as a storyline? And then when she saw that Tisha was not really like forthcoming with what she was doing, she changed the whole storyline to talking about their issue with the website. Now she brings up the website, tells Tisha that that actually made her look bad to the public, and it also affected her business because every people were like sending her DMs. I can remember that time people actually were saying that the product that Tisha is selling or was selling is actually the canvas beauty that she wanted to like get out of stock. So she starts telling her that copying her entire policy did not look good for her as a businesswoman and that she deserves an apology. And Tisha is like, apology? Why should I apologize for that? That I don't need to apologize because it's not my fault. My assistant read the website and I was not the one who gave the website designer the design. That's very weird. Now they also in this same conversation started talking about the whole vacation that the family, Tisha and her family went on. And Stormi asked Tisha, oh, what about Marsau? Did he follow you? He's like, no, Marsau went on a bachelor's trip to Colombia. Then Stormi had to remind her that, do you know what people call Colombia? It's like a prostitution hub. There are actually territories in Colombia where it's like a red light district where everything goes on. I don't know, the R word, the sex slaves, so many bullshit actually goes on in Colombia that why would your man go there on a bachelor's trip for whatever reason?
For one, he's not a bachelor, he's married. So, okay. And then she cleared it up and said it was his friend's bachelorette party. But she made it seem like it was only him and the friend, not like him and other guys who were a part of the bachelor party. So, That didn't make sense either.
I feel like they're just trying to set us up for this storyline that they want to impose on us, right? I feel like because they're not going to give us the real of what's really going on, they are trying to create aspersions in our minds and like cast doubts in our minds, like, oh, maybe something happened in Colombia. We don't know. We don't like, unless you're going to show us and tell us what has happened, which you're not going to do. Like, stop dangling the carrots because that's what it feels like. And I'm actually fed up with Stormi and playing this whole peacemaker thing. You know, you're not a peacemaker. Let's be completely honest. You didn't try to make peace when your mom was coming for Melody. And even when you try to make peace, you so called throw darts in there. Like, even with the Kiki and Tiffany situation, I feel like she kept throwing little darts in there. Remember how Melody brought Kiki and Tiffany together and they sort of squashed it? But then Stormy was going back and saying like little bits to each person, right? So I feel like you can't be trying to play peacemaker if you're going around and talking and like putting like little planting little like seeds of discord and then you expect them and then you come back in our faces to be like, oh, I just want everyone to get along. Stop with the fakery. Yeah, that's how I felt. And about Tisha, Tisha does not take accountability, and I'm tired of it. That's it.
Right. It's sickening how much she just could not, like, she deflected everything. Nothing was her fault. She didn't know anything about it. And it's like, girl, that lets us know you don't know the first thing about running a business. Because just like, Courtney said, is it your business or is it your web designer's business? Like, whose business is it? Because you need to at least proofread that before sending it out. Just like you should have, before the cameras rolled and we seen them putting the labels over someone else's product, you should have made sure that that was already done so that we didn't see that either. Like, there's so many aspects of this whole scenario with her copying Stormy and all of that, and Stormy possibly having some part in it or whatever the case is. I just feel like there was no accountability. None. She never does. And then just like how she deflected when it came to Kiki, you just keep on saying that you know how Kiki is. Kiki is on drugs. We've seen that she's passed the drug test, but they don't know that. And they're steady trying to spew the narrative that she's, this drug addict. She's, what I'm saying, untrustworthy. And when it comes to Stormy being a peacemaker, we see at the end that she is no peacemaker because she cussed them all out and went straight hood. So, no, I don't think she's up for that peacemaking stuff no more. Because after what Tisha did and how she sees how the Scots are for real, no, I don't think she's trying to peacemake anything with them anymore.
I don't think she's not trying to peacemake. I think she then realized that the Scots were not who they portray or who they are portraying themselves to be. Because let's be frank, what exactly have the Scots done to that she decided to like side with them? Nothing. So it's actually very crazy that she went and sided with them. I still do not understand why. I'm still very lost. I'm still very confused. But that's congrats to her. Because I really like this Stormy Tisha scene. I'm still trying to understand why she's still filming with Tisha, because it's very obvious that she cannot stand Tisha. It's very obvious that she doesn't like Tisha anymore, because you could see the disgust with her lips reaching her nose when she was talking about that website stuff. Probably they had even had like business under the wraps aside, like away from camera, that oh, you're going to use my product to do your this, but don't allow anybody find out. And then Tisha could not just do one tiny thing properly and everybody is now on Stormy. So Stormy is actually irritated, like for real. And Tisha is then telling her, well, it's not my fault. I tried my best. I did and this. She is very irritated. She does not like Tisha right now. And I would not be shocked with what's going to happen eventually. I won't.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to fall out eventually. I think it's obvious. In a way, I suspect Stormy is feeling some sort of buyer's remorse where it's like, you've gone on the other side of Melody, you've pretended or you've befriended these people, and then now it's like you're going to have to deal with the consequences because these people are not ish. So yeah, good luck to her. But you could tell that she finally saw Tisha for who Tisha is, and she did not like that.
Right. So listen, I don't feel like Tisha's gonna have like all her who she feels like her allies. They're dropping off slowly but surely. Like, girl, people can see the fake. You know, no, you are definitely not someone who people want to be around. Like, you can't get too close to Tisha because Tisha will steal everything from you. Like, even if she doesn't physically take things, she will still try to steal your identity and make it hers because she doesn't know how to stand on her own and be her own woman. Like, she has to be someone else. And she has to continue to copy other women because she's not secure with her own self.
Yes. That's why she decided to go into this beauty business route because she feels like that's what everybody is doing on the show. Meanwhile, she does not know how. I think people need to understand that you can be satisfied just not being a boss lady. Not everybody has to be a boss lady. Sometimes just need to be at home and be taken care of. You don't need to always have to do businesses, especially if you do not have the head for it, as Tisha does not have. But yeah, let's move on from this stale story because there's no use. Tisha would never take any responsibility and it's annoying. So now Chris goes to meet Nell and is starts telling her about their son Chris Jr.'s issue, saying that oh they had a conversation and Chris Jr. is not all right. Immediately he comes in and he starts talking about Chris Jr. Nell was like, "Is he about to pay me back my money?" And he's like, "Oh, Chris Jr. is not happy. Sometimes he just enters his car, drives away, just like clear his head, playing music." That he's depressed and they need to get him a therapist. And Nell comes in saying that, well, he's actually getting the reward for all his actions. So basically, his actions are biting him in the ass. That yes, it's good for them to get therapy. She's up for whatever he wants to do for Chris Jr., but she feels like what he's experiencing now is what he deserves because is as a result of his actions. That anytime he has a lot of money, nobody can actually talk to him. He's on a high horse. But whenever he's broke, things do not work well, then he comes back singing, "Oh, the I Am Depressed" song. What do you guys think about this?
I can see both sides of where Nell's coming from being a parent. Now, if as hard as she came, I now that's not me, but I feel like a part of Nell is kind of blocked off from listening because maybe she has heard, because being a mom, we see our kids differently than dads. And we hold our children closer and dear than what dads do in a way. Like dads love their children, not saying that they don't, but there's just a different bond with a mother and a child. So we know when you're telling a story. We know when you're, acting up or if something's wrong, something's right. It's just a sense. I feel like with Nell, she's at the point to where she probably knows that she has babied her son or she has played some part in him feeling like he was untouchable and above things and could get away with things. And now this is her way of trying to show tough love. This is her way of trying to show him, like, you can't keep doing this over. And I feel like, mm, I understand and I get it, but maybe she needs to talk to him and maybe listen a little more. Because he might be suffering from something deeper. But I get it. Like I really I get it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying because, like, I understand from her perspective, she might be feeling like, he's like said this before, wants to say that, he's not just like down now because he doesn't have money, and in a couple of months or whatnot, if things change, it's going to be like completely different. But at the same time, I also feel like she needs to listen more generally. Like, when Chris was saying it, she was immediately on the defensive. She was already like, it was like she had a response for everything. I don't think she was really like taking it in. And now I understand, like, sometimes what you're going through is as a direct consequence of your actions. And I think there's an element of truth in what Nell said. But I think at the same time, I feel like she needed to like listen a little bit more. Now, granted, in all fairness to her, when Chris did say specifically that he seems depressed, this is happening, I noticed that she piped down quite a bit. And I think that it's good that in the end she like listened. And I think now she just needs to have a direct conversation with the Chris Jr. and like get to the bottom of things, and hopefully they can get therapy. But I think Nell needs to actually calm down a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, because I was like, people were really coming at her and everything. But I'm like, I think people need to sit down and realize, why are we having more young children that are like misbehaving? It's because we're having more softer parents who think like the soft route is what you need to do. Because that, I don't agree with what people are saying. Everybody keeps saying Chris is the better parent, Chris is the calmer parent. But from what I'm seeing, Chris seems like the gullible parent. Is the
Yeah.
one that
Yeah.
everybody runs to because they do not want to get the truth of what's happening to them. Alexis' problem has nothing to do with Nell. I hated the fact that people were saying, oh, this is why the children do not like you. This is why people do not want to talk to you. Alexis has no issue with Nell because she never liked Nell. Alexis' issue is a Chris. So people should stop putting, I hate when people start putting the problem with the women because they feel like, oh, she's too loud, she's too this. She was able to see Chris Jr. for whom he was and currently is, because he's a pretender. For him to sit down there in that dinner and tell her, well, give me back my dog, I would have slapped you across the table because that was so disrespectful. What parent out there in this economic situation is ready to fork out $10,000 for you? And then you're like, oh, I'm not paying you back till you give me back my dogs. Well, those dogs wouldn't have even existed if she had not taken the dogs to the vet. So I really do not understand why people are not seeing where she's coming from, because she knows Chris Jr. Why is Chris Jr. different from Lance? Are they not both boys? Chris Jr. was over
Right.
pampered, and it's understandable because he's the youngest. Is he the youngest? No, second to the youngest, right? He
Right.
was over pampered. So now he runs to Daddy Jerez because Daddy Jerez will not say anything. Chris is the calm parent. Nell is the strong armed parent. She's not about to take bullshit. This woman is frustrated. All this, oh, she's too rah rah rah. This is why black parents, the kids don't want to talk to you. Okay, now the parents that the kids are talking to, are they not giving them hell? We're seeing kids beating up teachers, beating up parents, beating up this because everybody wants to, oh, let me talk to you, let me be calm, let me be this. I'm not saying you should not be calm. I'm not saying you should not have conversations so that your children cannot like be close to you. But the fact is, Chris Jr. never had an issue with Nell's behavior till he went to jail. That's what people are forgetting. He was calling mommy dearest every other day. texting mommy dearest every single day, talking to mommy dearest about money every other day until he went to jail. People just do not listen to understand. That was the moment he stopped calling her. Not because she has not clocked this attitude a long time ago. It was when she said, enough with you, enough with the way you're acting, enough with you being all reckless. I am not taking it anymore. That's the moment that he stopped talking to her, because then she was like, I'm no longer going to cuddle you.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. I feel like she was, she kind of babied him at the beginning, but she said enough is enough. She's holding him accountable, and he doesn't like the fact that he does have to admit or stand on his own and actually take accountability for his actions. Because, like you said, you're worried about some dogs, but yet you wasn't worried about them when you did whatever was that got you locked up. Knowing that these dogs had to be taken care of, your mother stepped in and took care of these dogs and evidently did something that you wasn't capable of doing because she had to take them to the vet and spend a lot of money on them at the vet. Like there's no consideration for that or even like appreciation it seems. It,
Yeah,
it just seems like there's just none. It's just
and I think
all about, oh, you have my dog, so won't give them to me, and that's that. Like,
right. And the thing is, I feel like with Nell, I do feel like she's the parent that holds them accountable because I just don't see Chris doing that. Let's just be honest. I really don't see Chris doing that. So I feel like she's the parent that holds them accountable. So naturally, I feel like she's the one that gets the bad rep, right? Because like the kids know, oh, go to daddy, it will all be cool and dandy, right? But go to mom, she's gonna really tell you about yourself. So I feel like, yes, there is an element of that. I just wish that, and I understand how frustrating it can be, but I wish like Nell would like work on her approach a little bit better. Because the thing is, I just feel like you've been like shouting and screaming, and what has that changed? Right? Maybe try a different approach. This is just my personal opinion. Good afternoon, Jacqueline. So I just feel like if you've been doing something and it's clearly not working, then maybe a different approach is necessary.
But what
absolutely.
approach? Chris is calm. Like from what I'm seeing, they have a very stable parent. Like there's equilibrium. Chris is quiet, calm. Nell is fire and brimstone. So there is a middle ground in this whole family. But the kids want only the Chris type of parents.
Yeah, but things
Everybody
like
wants the Chris type of parents.
I hear you, and I think it's good how it's cold and like hot, but at the same time, like things like saying your kid is an asshole, or like things like shut the f off or whatever, those sorts of things I just think are extreme personally. Um, and so I feel like that I don't think is the right approach. Like I think you can hold your kids accountable, you can be firm and stern, but all of that is I feel borderlining on like being abusive.
Yeah,
I
I do agree that she does come up hot, 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 hot. But we're only seeing now. We're not seeing before. She was the one buying the cars. She was the one. This is the problem with variety TV. We never really see what happened 10 years ago when she was buying cars, giving them $20,000, giving them all these, paying. These kids live in rich areas. She's paying their apartment bills. She's paying everything, but she's holding them accountable. And I don't know, because I know that if she mistakenly becomes like Chris and becomes soft spoken, the balance is over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, we don't see what happened before. And a person, it can only take so much before they just get completely tired and done and just, you know what I'm saying, start changing their ways. Because a person's only going to say yes so many times and you burn them and mess over them before they start saying no. And I feel like that's what's happened is now they're getting that tough love and they thought maybe at first she was, she was the go-to. But since she's not now, she's the bad person. Kids do that. Oh, you saying no to them now? You're acting like you can't do it. Now they hold a grudge. They act like you owe them something, and they start bringing up all types of issues that they had that you never knew, even though you was doing stuff. But they still had all these grievances against you. Now they're bringing them up because you're saying no to them now. Now they have a problem. Now they don't want to talk to you. It's a whole thing. And I feel like we don't know the full story behind it, but I just feel like she's gotten tired of saying yes.
Yeah. So now let's go on to the next. So yeah, Kimmy invites Tisha and Mel for pedicures. Mel obviously looked like she didn't want to be there, but she had to show up because filming and who doesn't like free things? So she showed up, and as usual, by the time she showed up, Kimmy and Tisha had already talked about this pregnancy scare again. Gosh. But yeah, she showed up and Kimmy starts asking her about the whole name change thing, talking about, oh, I thought you were going to invite me. And Mel tells her that, oh, the only reason why she didn't invite them was because if she invited Kimmy, then she would have to invite Maurice, and if she invites Maurice, she will have to invite Tisha and Marsau. And these people are actually related to Martell. She does not want people to come and then in the future they'll start laughing about the whole situation. That's why she did not even invite them in the first place, to just let the whole thing go. And she just wanted it to be very intimate. So, sorry. Kimmy then starts talking about, how do you feel about this name change thing? Because you and your children will have different surnames, and that in the African American society, it has become something where we are seeing women now having the same surname as their children, and that she doesn't know how the kids are going to feel, blah blah blah. Mel tries and successfully reminds her that, but you do not have the same surname as your son. And then she keeps quiet. What do you guys think about that?
I love how
Girl.
Melody comes through. Like Melody comes through with classy reads. Like, and
Mhm.
she keeps it so simple. Like, honestly, what was the whole point of Kimmy even bringing that up? Because what you brought up, it fell flat. Because you and Jalen do have different names. So whenever he fills out something or somebody asks what his mom's name is, they're going to know that it's different. But just like you changed it, she changed hers back. That was her claiming herself back. And as far as inviting out to the party, like, no, like she said, her close friends and her family. Y'all have not truly been friends to her. Y'all can't say that y'all truly had her back. And Tisha made a comment, was like, well, I would think that if you planned her a party for breast cancer, that y'all are pretty close and basically that she should have invited her. No, that's not what that means. Not at all. Just because somebody plans something for you doesn't mean that they're invited to every event that you have, because not every event is made for every person. But
Yeah, I was
I loved how
completely
Mel
here
read her.
for it. Mhm, 100%. I was completely here for it. And I love how she did it while smiling as well. I'm like, yes, you better read her for Phil. And I was just thinking, like, Kimmy, what is your agenda? And the thing about it is, if you watch back or look back to like season one, Kimmy has always been nice, nasty towards Melody. It's always been like a weird passive aggressive sort of thing and like fakery going on there. And so, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not surprised that Kimmy decided to bring this up in a bid to like shade Melody. And Tisha was just there smiling over there, and I was just like, "Girl, this is why you guys get such a bad rep, right? Because this woman's been through a lot. She's changing her name. You guys know what she's been through at the hands of this man. Never have you ever shown public or any sort of support towards her. Instead, every reunion is about how, oh, Melody takes a break from us. Why wouldn't she take a break from y'all? You guys are not good friends. Where have we ever seen you guys think, wow, this woman is going through a divorce, let's throw her something. Let's do something for her. No, we've not seen that. Instead, she's constantly doing stuff for the girls on the show. And so, like, it's honestly frustrating as a viewer to watch this because it's just an additional thing that we've seen them. And, like, it's like you would think, like, the women on the show would have some empathy, but it just feels like there's no empathy there. And they're just like, yeah, it's Mel, we don't care. You know, it is what it is. But then we want to show up at her events that are exclusive. Like, why would she want to invite you to exclusive events? It doesn't even make any sense. Like we're friends like that, we're co-workers. I don't speak. If the fact that I don't speak to you after filming doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, yeah, it's like, what have they done for her? Like, truly, where have they had her back? When have they actually been for Mel or done something that shows, like, hey, we can be trusted on some real shit? Like, we are really here for you. I have not seen that at all from any of them. And you're so right. Kimmy has been very nice, nasty throughout this entire show. And she's getting exhausting. I'm sorry. She's exhausting.
Yes, like girl, you should be bothered about your husband's libido. Like, why are you so worried about what someone's child? As I always say, the children will cope. They're not going to hang themselves. Nobody's going to do anything about having a different surname. If they're so bothered, they can change it. Gosh, like it's so
Yeah.
exhausting. This whole like I was thinking maybe I started thinking maybe I'm not African enough because I've never had this conversation ever with somebody. Oh, you do not have the same surname as your mom. Like it's crazy.
Honestly, I feel like that's some Kimmy shit because I've never had that. I, I mean, but then again, I mean, my kids do have my last name, but still, like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's never been like, oh, you don't have your dad's last name. It's like, first off, why the fuck for? You have to earn that shit. I'm not gonna give my kids a last name with somebody who's definitely not gonna be a representative or a good representative of them. Fuck you. No, they have my last
Yeah.
name, right? So, like, no, I've never heard that. Oh my god, you're you're a bad mom because you and your kids have the same last name and they don't. Okay, well, fuck you and suck monkey balls. I don't care.
I've heard it before, but it's never really been from the mouth of the kids. The kids don't care. It's usually the parents that say things like that, like, "Oh, I feel bad." Like every time I go pick up my kid, and they ask my name and and I don't have the same last name, or when they're traveling to like certain countries, and everyone has the same last name except the woman. So like I've heard that before, but one thing I always say is children are resilient, right? Like all of these things that people really be thinking like, oh, kids are just this. Most times they're not even thinking about those things. The kids just want to play, eat, and enjoy themselves, right? Like the last thing they're thinking is daddy and or mommy has a different last name. Mommy picks us up, we go home. Like the last thing they'll be thinking is, mommy, your last name is different. Like it doesn't make any sense, right? I think
Right.
sometimes we overanalyze and we think, oh my god, these kids, when the kids are just there like, I don't even care. Like it really is not a thing. And in either way, right? If she was really worried about the kids, she could have asked instead of projected. She could have said, "Oh, how are the kids doing? Do they know you've changed your last name? Have they said anything about that?" That's how you inquire if you're really like trying to understand, as opposed to telling someone how to live their life.
But and to actually back that up is you were so right because when you hear that most of the time, like if you hear something like that, it comes from a judgmental ass parent or adult. You know what I'm saying? Somebody it's never whenever you hear something like that, it's never really in a good questioning. Like it's always like some judgment behind the questioning of it. Like, somebody wanting to look their nose up at you because they feel like it's just a terrible thing to do. You're right. You don't hear the kids saying that it's a problem until judgmental ass adults or other parents start making it an issue and making that child feel like there's something wrong with not having the same name as your parent or, you know, as the mother or the father. Like, yeah. So that's sickening. We as adults need to do better and stop being, honestly, so nosy. Because sometimes some shit's just not your business. But anyhow, yeah, Tisha and Mel, yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
this scene, I don't know, maybe I just felt like it was fake because all of a sudden they start talking about the expo again, and I'm like, gosh, let me rest enough. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm legit tired of listening up to this Black Expo thing. I thought maybe we've left this. What episode? How many episodes are we in? It's very exhausting. 11 episodes in, no, 12 episodes in, and it's just really like tiring hearing about this expo over and over and over. Like, gosh, just let it end. So Tisha claims that when they were having the criticism meeting, she was not talking about she was not angry because it was Mel who spoke. That if Mel felt that way, that was not what she wanted. And then Kimmy, as usual, brings up the, oh, so will you guys unblock each other on social media? And Mel's like, no, we can't unblock each other. We don't need to unblock each other. If we're cordial, we're cordial. And I just felt like, oh, this is something you can just email the person. You didn't need to have been added to this scene. It was just, I don't know, I just got a weird vibe from that conversation. It seemed fake. Like productions are like, oh, talk about this.
yeah. I feel like it was just another like time filler because I mean, we all know the truth, and Tisha had nothing to say when everybody else was talking. Like, she was mute. But as soon as Mel said something, of course, she has something to say, which is always how she is. Anytime Mel does or says anything, Tisha has something to back it up because she has such a jealousy and envy of Mel that she has to combat it in some type of way. But I just feel like production really just to kind of like build time. Like, we need more time in conversation because Mel shut down the shit with Kimmy so time. We need something else. And I feel like that was just what they did with Tisha and Mel.
Yeah. So let's just move on to the last scene because yeah, I actually didn't even know what to talk about in this scene. It was just somehow to me. So Stormy and Courtney, initially she already invited like Tisha and Marsau for a double date. Now they get to the place and they've been waiting for an hour and 30 minutes for Tisha and Marsau to come in. And then they come in and they bring up the whole disrespect about Marsau calling Courtney Mrs. Steele, Mr. Steele, knowing that that's um what's her name? Stormy's surname, not his surname. And then she starts calling Marsau, telling that that's a B behavior and that's what he's exhibiting, and that's why she will keep calling him that. Now, before we go into that, I just noticed one funny thing. So Why is it that men will always posture talking about a woman is supposed to take my son name or a woman is supposed to take my name, but when they call you the name of your wife, it's like all hell has broken loose.
Yeah, like
Honestly.
why is it so disrespectful if it's not embedded in some sort of weird patriarchal system? But yeah, it's very weird. Because I'm just like, well, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, why is it so Why is it seen to be so disrespectful?
But yeah, if I was the one who was waiting for someone for about 1 hour, 30 minutes without any prior notice, tell me, I would have left because I will understand if you're in traffic and you call me that there's traffic, so you're probably going to be late, but you
Like
don't call me, you
15
don't
minutes.
inform me. 30 minutes, go 30 minutes in, like I will stand up and leave because I will feel so embarrassed. I'm just there waiting. Okay, where are you?
Do
Like
they ever
Stormy,
show up on time for anything? They are always late.
Yep, always. Even to their own like meetings, which is just so incompetent. Like it's just it doesn't speak well at all.
honestly, and I didn't even hear any apology, no nothing. They just came in, hi guys, blah, blah. I'm like, I would have even walked out at that point because you guys did not show any remorse to come in late, and I've been standing here. Probably like the plans they had for an hour, 30 minutes gone. These people are businessmen and women. As much as I bash their business, but I still feel like their businessmen, their time is very valuable, and yeah, making them waste it on you, and then you come in. Yeah, Stormy was very disrespectful. I don't care if you feel like someone called your husband Mr. Steele. Internalize why he felt like that was so disrespectful, and then also internalize why you feel calling Marsau a B should not be disrespectful to him, because it makes no sense. You kept calling someone a B, a B, a B, a B up and down because of he said something about your husband taking your son name, or you feel like it's so crazy. You are too rich to be this ratchet. I don't understand why we black women they just think that being ratchet is some sort of like, I don't know, like so relatable. Oh my god, that costs a lot. Oh my god. How does that make sense?
Like it honestly is just annoying why they do feel like it is okay to be so, like, you have this money and you have a platform, but yet you use it to show that you have no morals, or like you just like you can't contain yourself. Do you know there are young women who are looking up to you just because you have made it out of the ghetto, or made it out of whatever impoverished position you was in? You've made it out, you've made a way. So there are a lot of women that look up to you, and to keep on portraying this hood and ratchet like behavior, that's not, like, what are you really telling your fans or people who buy your products? Like, what is this showing? It's showing that you just don't know how to conduct yourself. And like I've said it before, not everyone deserves to be rich, but not everyone knows how to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone should have money and power like that. Like, not everyone knows how to handle it, and she's one of them.
Yeah, because I don't understand this scene. I don't like Tisha and Masao, but she came up very disrespectful, bringing up the, oh, you're not listening to me. That's why she got water thrown in her face. I'm like, I understand
Yeah,
you
they
being
always overstep.
angry. Yes, I understand you being angry that someone came late. You are very justified in your feelings, but then None of you were either right in that criticism meeting, none of you. So don't come here taking the, oh, I was attacked. No, no, no. You're not going to change or rewrite history. We watched that thing. You were not right. He was not right either. He was not right the more because he was the host, basically. But it doesn't change the fact that you were also disrespectful. And since then, every time you see Marsau, you call him the B word. Every
Like
time.
we all know how he
Yeah,
is, absolutely.
yes.
And that, but that doesn't give you the right to, just like call him out. And for Tisha to speak up this time, kudos to you. But the fact of the matter is,
Tisha did not speak up. I didn't even see what she saw. I don't like what was
All
that?
she
How is
said
that
was that it
speaking
was
up?
disrespectful. She said calling anyone the B word is disrespectful. That's all she said.
right, like that's her way of sticking up, which she could have said that in the very first place when it happened,
Imagine if
but
that
she
was
was mute.
Melody. Is that all she's going to say?
Yeah.
We know that's not true. She would have read
Hmm.
Melody, or well, tried to at least. So
Oh
drag
yeah, that
Melody.
was Mel. She definitely would have had a whole lot to say and would have tried to bring up some stuff that she knows about, uh, you know, about Mel's
You,
ex or whatever the case is. Like,
you feel like there's some alliance between Stormy and Tisha.
yeah, definitely. But I also feel like Stormy was also holding on to some of the anger that she felt from when she met up with Tisha about the hair care product and just basically how Tisha really wasn't trying to apologize or, take any accountability because for some reason it seems like the Scots are allergic to all vowel sounds, A, E, I, O's, and U's. So any accountability, apologies, expos, and instincts and all that other stuff, they just don't know how to they just have none of it. And I feel like that rubbed Stormy the wrong way and she was holding on to that. So after that, it was just like, okay, seeing how they are. No, it just took her right back to her ratchet ways. That's why I said her being a mediator, that shit's not lasting because no, she got real ratchet and real hood real quick and let it be known that they ain't nothing and how she, you know what I'm saying? We heard how she was talking. She was ratchet, y'all.
Yeah, I feel like she does not have the temperament to be a mediator, to be completely honest with you. She doesn't at all. Yeah, I think the whole thing, I just kept thinking, yeah, I feel like at the reunion, they're definitely going to go back and forth. They're going to go at it. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I feel like Tisha doesn't take accountability. Stormy, her temperament is just weird. And also, like, the way she goes from zero to ghetto is just unacceptable. So I'm very curious to see how they are going to clash at the reunion. This is just, I think they will definitely clash. But yeah, was there anything else that you were thinking about this scene
No,
before we
I'm
wrap
with
up?
you. I am waiting to see the reunion. Like, let's just get past the rest of these damn episodes because this has been long and drawn out. Let's just get past all this shit and let's get to the reunion. That's what I want to see because I honestly want the reunion to bring out the whole drug testing of Kiki, and I want them to bring out some fact finders. Like let's just get to that. So, but yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah, I'm with you 110% on that one. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, and thank you very much, guys, for just being in the chat and watching. Please subscribe to all of our channels. Talk with Slana, the Queen's Tea with Gigi Nan, and reviews and recaps. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.